Inouye, well done. You guys have made it. Long haul. Good job. So my talk's going to be really interactive. So by the midway point, you'll be on your iPads. You'll spend a good hour working on them. So don't worry, you won't be sitting here for the next 2 hours. Just listen to me drone on. So thank you, Carrie, for the introduction. As you heard, this is me, Darren Inouye. There's a picture there. I've been a coach with SMBC for over 10 years, mostly, as Carrie mentioned, in floor hockey. Currently the regional coordinator. A little bit of background on me. I studied up on the hill there, up at Simon Fraser in Biochem Comp Sci. And I've been working in tech starts for most of my life. And when I'm not doing any of the above, then I am usually on my bicycle riding around doing endurance cycling. So today, to get you started, this is basically what we're going to be covering today. I'm going to start you off with some bright ideas. Bright ideas. And those are some examples that came from coaches like yourselves. That's going to highlight how to use iPads, how to use video technology in your coaching practice. Then we're going to move on to some practicalities of shooting good video, like how to get the proper shots that you can use. And then I'll dive into kind of the meat of the talk, which will be dealing with the apps that you're going to be using. So in particular, Coach's Eye, we'll touch on Dropbox. Many of you have probably had some experience with that. And then we'll just take a brief look at items. And then we'll get into the hands-on session. And the hands-on part will be you guys out there having fun with iPads for a good hour or so. And then I'll just wrap it up and finish up with some ideas that I think are worth spreading. All right, so just a question to start you guys off. How many of you, just by a show of hands, have used the tablet before? Or is it first time? Oh, look at that, that's great. Okay, so the large majority of you are pretty familiar. Out of you that have used one and seen one, how many of you have actually shot video, like Ice Bucket Challenge? Cats falling off shelves and stuff. Okay, so we've got a pretty good mix here. We've got I'd say a 70-30 mix of people familiar, people not familiar. So when we get into the exercises, look for those people that are, either have some experience or have a tablet. So, all right, so we're going to start you right off into this stuff. So these are bright ideas. These are some examples of video use in coaching. So these are all pulled. Pretty much all of them were pulled from the Team BC that went to national games this past summer. So, start you off with Travis Chastavich. I think that's how you say it. Swim coach with Team BC there. This picture of Travis getting the Team BC haircut. Is Travis here today? No, Travis didn't make it today. Okay, well Travis is he gets the gold star because he was one of the first guys on Team BC to really embrace this technology and come up with some cool ideas. So I'm going to show you a little video that Travis did where he does a technique correction, side-by-side technique correction in swimming, and shows. This one shows basically how to do a kick turn. So I'm just going to play this one.
I'd like to compare two things. First, I'm going to start with Carrie. Carrie is going to be using two hands to perform her flip turn. As you can see right here, she uses this arm and this arm to propel herself forward, whereas Avery started with one arm. If we back it up, she had one arm here and she pulled herself through and then flipped. The second thing I'm going to compare is with Avery. When she flips, unfortunately, she doesn't quite push off right away. And what you'll see with Carrie over here is she pushes off immediately.
Yeah, so that was Travis's example from swimming. Pretty cool one there. So he used the iPad to shoot the video, and then he used that piece of software that I was referring to, Coach's Eye, to do that side-by-side comparison, and also gave him the ability to do all the circling and do the slow motion, the fast forward, rewind, all that kind of stuff. So that's Travis's. Next one, I like this one. This one's really cool. This one's from the mental performance consultant. Some of you might have run into her during national games, Alison Quinlan. She is a disciple of Dr. Laura, who has been around for a very long time. And so Alison, she's a busy UVic student, and she couldn't make it out to every single training camp that she had going on. So what she did was she used technology in a really interesting way to kind of to deliver her mental preparation training to the athletes via video. So I'm going to just play also the video here. It was about a 20-minute long video, so I'm just taking some excerpts of it to give you an idea of what she had done.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to your mental training session. My name is Ali, and I'll be your mental performance consultant for this season. I'm really excited to get to work with you guys. I'm really sorry that I couldn't be there this weekend, but this is an awesome opportunity to talk to you guys through this video. And, you know, you guys are going to have an awesome time at the camp this weekend, and we'll get to meet you hopefully very soon. So I thought first of all I would just talk a little bit about a brief background about myself, and then introduce myself to you guys, and then we'll just move through a few mental training tools that you guys can use this weekend at the camp, and then moving forward as we progress. All right, so like I said, my name is Ali. There we go. And I've been playing golf since I was about 16 or 17, so almost about 10 years now. I became absolutely hooked on the game. I just love it. I played at the University of Victoria for 4 years, and then I was fortunate enough to be able to go down and play in Phoenix, Arizona. But I found the more I was playing competitively, the more I began to become really interested in how what I was thinking could really influence my performance on the golf course. So this led me to go back to school and start to study this mental training and start to find these different ways of how our thinking could actually make me a better golfer. Going and moving forward. So first of all, I'd just like to say hello to everyone. So Chelsea, hello. I hear you've got a really great positive attitude. This is such an amazing trait to have. It's really going to help you out on the golf course. I hear you've been working really hard at cutting down your pop intake. This is awesome. I mean, you know, proper hydration on the golf course is so important. Cutting down that pop's really going to help you through those last few holes, maintaining that energy, and also helping you with your focus. So awesome job with that. And your weekly workouts, I hear those have been going great. So this strength is also really going to help you out in tournaments coming down that home stretch. So keep up the awesome work. All right. And hello, Nellie Jo. Great work on staying so active. I hear you're participating in so many different sports. I couldn't believe how many. Floor hockey, bowling, powerlifting, lots of walking. All right, everyone. So let's get started with our mental training session. The first thing I'm going to talk about is athlete A and athlete B. So has anyone heard of this before? I'm not sure if you guys have or not, if you're familiar with athlete A or athlete B, but we're just going to talk about it a little bit. So athlete A is our best performer self. So, you know, it's when we're making those smooth golf swings, we're focused on the target, you're hitting the fairway, hitting the green, but it's also when we're having a lot of fun. So some of the key words here. So we've got fun, we're focused. Where we go? There we go. Yeah, focused, energized. All of these different words that come to mind when we're that best performer self. So think what it is for you. I know for me, you know, I'm calm, just thinking about the target, thinking fluid thoughts with my golf swing, you know, all those things. But it's different for everyone. But athlete A is that best performer self.
All right. So I guess next year when you guys come to this, I'm just going to send a video. Instead of coming myself, I'm just going to do what I also did. It's a great idea. All right, so I was in there. I mean, obviously great video. She's got a great camera presence there. She overcame distances. So she was in UVic, and most of the camps were happening here in Vancouver. So she used video in this creative way to overcome those distances, and that might be something that you guys can apply, because I know that there's a good portion of you that are coming from out of town. So you know, maybe something that you could use in your coaching practice. The development of sense of team was really cool, because there was basically only one camp I believe that Allison could make it to. She used this kind of thing to develop that sense of team, and you saw her address those athletes, and when she addressed them, you should have seen their faces light up. Like, I mean, it was as if she was in the room with them. So I mean, it really did wonders of developing that sense of team. And when it came to the actual games themselves, it was amazing how many people actually accessed her and wanted to talk to her, you know, before their rounds of golf or after their rounds of golf, because I think they felt that they really knew her, knew her through watching her through the video. So cool use there. So important, be creative. You saw her, you know, she just had the whiteboard up there and just, you know, drawing her name and things like that. Just fun little things like that when you guys are making your videos that really kind of add that extra emphasis. Next example, this one's my favorite, and this person is also one of my favorite people here, Barb Tull. She's a fellow regional coordinator and also my regional coordinator mom. She looks after me. She's in the neighboring region. She was on the mission staff for Team BC in rhythmic gymnastics, and she did something extremely cool. I'm just going to run this video. There's no sound. I'm just going to talk while it runs here. So what you're watching here is video footage that Barb and her RG coaches shot during their training camps, during their practices. And what they did with this stuff was they uploaded it to Dropbox, which I talked a little bit about earlier in the summary, and they shared it with the judges that were going to be judging at national games. So the judges actually saw these videos of the girls practicing, and they were able to provide some feedback before they actually went to competition. So I mean, how huge is that? That's a giant advantage. I mean, almost seems like cheating me. I mean, I don't know how she did it. I mean, Barb is incredibly creative, and she's been involved in rhythmic gymnastics for a very, very long time. So, and it wasn't just feedback that the judges gave. Like, it wasn't just a phone call or an email that said, good job, well done. It was actually very detailed feedback, and they uploaded that feedback into Dropbox again for all the coaches to review and stuff like that. So, like, there is a huge competitive advantage here. So that bright idea, Barb Tull, mission staff for rhythmic gymnastics. So she not only, she used it to gain a competitive advantage for her team. So I mean, her being the mission staff, very creative solution there. Sometimes you have to consider outside of the system, outside your team. So it's not just necessarily technique correction or using video to do things that are, sports related. I mean, that's kind of outside of it. Looking at the judging of a sport and the rules of a sport. Being creative coaches. All right. So look forward to adding your guys' names here for when your bright ideas come along. And please share them. Please share them. Definitely looking for more examples. So as you go back, taking some of these ideas from this weekend, go do your thing and let me know what you're doing. That picture there is a picture of Roger Nielsen, former Vancouver Canucks coach and guy that brought us towel power. And also, he was also known as Captain Video because he really pioneered the use of video in the NHL in the early days. So, think like Roger, be an innovator. All right, so a little bit of practicality because we're going to get into shooting video pretty quick and using these iPads. So just a few kind of comments and tips on how to get the best shots. So when using an iPad, one of these guys, best idea is to shoot using the native app. That's really important. So, and if that just totally confuses you, one of those people that put up their hand, ask them what that means. But basically, use the camera app that comes with the iPad to shoot the video. Keep files short. It's really important because if you shoot long video, what ends up happening is it's really hard to move that stuff around. They end up being giant files, hard to upload them to things like Dropbox, hard to send them over to other people. So keep those files short.
How short is short?
What does that mean?
Short. Oh yeah, sorry, I should define that. Short, anything. I wouldn't do anything over a couple minutes. So like a rhythmic gymnastics routine is pretty reasonable length. But I wouldn't shoot, say, one rhythmic gymnastics routine after another, continuously kind of thing.
What resolution?
Resolution. These guys just automatically pretty much do it for you. So if you're just shooting off this, you don't have a whole lot of choice. It's just whatever comes out of the camera. 720, I believe. 720p comes out of most of this.
Can you shoot it on your phone and transfer it later so you're not having to carry a pad?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You can shoot it on pretty much anything and bring it into Coach's eye. I mean, we don't have time to really go over iPads, but I brought a lot of other toys here too. That basically you can get this video in many different ways. But this is specific to iPads, and just for words, Donna, don't worry, you can't break things. You cannot break things. These things, just play with them, give it a shot. Short of dropping the thing, you're not going to have a problem with it. So play with them. Shoot some video, try it out, figure out what works best for you. All right. So when shooting video, it's pretty dark in here, but think about lighting. If you're in a arena or you're out in field and there's a better lit area, definitely go to those areas and use those areas because lighting is pretty key to getting good quality video. The other thing that really makes for good video too is if it's not bouncy, right? Like everybody's seen all this bouncy video that everybody shoots and stuff like that. Like half the time it's like people with iPhones flying around. Yeah, try to stabilize that stuff as much as possible. I mean, ideally you'd have it sitting on a tripod. You'd have it sitting on a tripod or some sort of image stabilizer. But if that's not practical, just hold it as still as you possibly can, and don't be running beside athletes and stuff like that, trying to get video. So thinking about that, have an assistant shoot video. So get a program volunteer, or perhaps get assistant coach, to get you a coffee and shoot your video for you.
What local do you coach at?
Yeah, exactly. You want to talk to some of my assistant coaches? Are they here? All right. So other apps. I'm going to go through these real quick because unfortunately we don't have a ton of time. But Dropbox is a good solution for storing things. So things like video, storing large files. A lot of you who have worked with the iPads before through SOBC have probably had experience with Dropbox. It's not always the easiest thing to figure out, but it is one of the better ones to use. So it's a good way to store large files like video. When you store them up in Dropbox, when you store these files there, they're available on pretty much any device. So you can access them via your notebook, you can access them via your phone, via your iPad. So they're available pretty much anywhere. And you'll also be able to share them with people. So you'll be able to send a link to them, send a link to anybody via email, and they'll be able to go onto your Dropbox and pull these files down, pull these videos down.
Isn't there a cost to Dropbox? I've got Dropbox, but I've got a minimal size. But it's cost about $200 a year to have additional memory. How do you access Dropbox without paying for it?
Oh, without paying for it, okay. Well, there's one neat little trick. Dropbox will increase the size of your Dropbox if you invite friends. So if you send an invite through Dropbox to other people, you get an additional, I believe, 500 megs each time somebody else signs up for it. So you can send out some invites to some friends, get a little more space. If the paid version is something you don't want to go to. So that's about the only way to get a little more space out of that. Other than that, you just kind of have to manage it and sort of delete files as you finish using them. There's also I would mention there's also a lot of other, this is the whole cloud thing, right? There's a whole lot of other cloud services for storing files too. So there's Google Drive, there's the Microsoft one too, that all do similar things to Dropbox. iMuscle, just touch on this real briefly. This is another app that appears on your iPads, the SOBC iPads. And it's like a roadmap to the human body, shows all the details of all the musculature, and provides some examples of exercises and stuff like that. So it's having one of those grade 12 skeleton things in your classroom. So this is a little video of what it looks like. And my advice on this one is just dive in, take a look. There's nothing too complicated there. So fire it up on your iPads, take a look what it can do. There's the exercises there. So it shows in good detail which muscles are being worked and that sort of thing. Yeah, it's a neat little program. All right, Coach's Eye. All right, so this is the one where I have to do. I'll switch in a moment. Okay, so Coach's Eye. I'm going to start by showing you guys an example that I did here. This is coming from floor hockey. So this is doing like a technique correction in floor hockey. So this is basically looking at high sticking and when an athlete takes a shot. So what I did was I took two videos of the athlete, kind of one before I gave some instruction on how to keep the stick down, and then one after, and then we just ran this side-by-side comparison. So it's pretty self-explanatory. It's very much similar to the Travis swim example. So I'll just run this video, and then you can have a look. This is an example of using Coach's Eye to help athletes correct their technique. In this example, we'll be using floor hockey and having an athlete concentrate on keeping their stick below their shoulders as an example. If I run these two clips simultaneously, you'll see that they go by pretty quick and it's pretty hard to tell where the error lies. But if we back them up and take a look at them each individually slowly, we'll see a rather large difference. So on the left is John taking a shot without any sort of prompting. This is just naturally how he would shoot. So if I roll this forward at slow speed, you could see that he finishes extremely high, and that his stick is well above his shoulder levels, and he'd run the risk of running or having a high sticking infraction. So I took John aside, showed him the video, showed him how high he was finishing, gave him a few pointers on how to keep his stick below his shoulders when he falls through, and the results are on the right hand side. So you see here, he's taking the shot, and he's pointing more towards the target. He's concentrating on that, and as he falls through, he's rolling his wrists slightly to keep his stick from finishing above his shoulders. So that's the example of using coach's eye to help an athlete correct their shot technique in floor hockey. Alright, so that's what you guys are going to be doing in a moment. Yeah. Turn that back on? Yeah, so that's what you guys are going to be doing in a moment.
Is there a cost to that?
No, it's free. There is kind of a paid version which contains some like additional features, but the base version is included on your SOBC iPad and is free. Yeah. All right. Oh, look at that! It's synced up and worked and everything. Okay, so this is coach's eye here. This is what it looks like. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to do like a real quick walkthrough and show you guys basically how I made that last video, and then we're going to set you off into groups, and then you guys can do it yourself. All right, so you ready? Here we go. First thing you want to do is you want to get video into coach's eye. So this is video that you've already shot and it's already residing on your iPad. You do that by in the top left-hand corner hitting the little plus sign there, and then it just accesses the camera roll there, so you're able to pull up video from the camera roll. I'll just import some video. This one is from, select that video, hit import, and it brings it in. So imports video. So shoot the video, then fire up coach's eye on the iPad, then hit the plus sign, import, bring the video into coach's eye. So there you can see it in the top left-hand corner, the video I just imported. So then when you want to analyze video and do that kind of side-by-side analysis, what you can do is you start off by selecting the two clips that you want to work with. Top right-hand corner there it says select. Tap on that, and then tap on the video that you want to work with. So I'm dealing with this one here, left. Yeah, your left hand. Yeah, my left-hand side too. Left-hand middle and bottom right-hand corner. So tap on those two, and then hit compare, which is on the top menu bar. So it pulls those two videos into kind of the analysis area of coach's eye. And here you can scroll them around and move them and adjust them. So I'm just going to adjust it here. If you do a pinch, for those of you who don't know what a pinch is, there again, when you're in groups, ask somebody with an iPad what that is. So you could pinch the video and rescale it, and then you can shift it around by just tapping and dragging it, holding and dragging it. So there's the two video clips, kind of nicely aligned. The little scroller on the bottom here, there's two of them. Basically, that allows you to fast forward and rewind the footage. So you can go there, fast forward, rewind, and you can freeze it anywhere. So even just like this, without doing anything further, if you have athletes that you're trying to do a technique correction, you can pull the video in like this, and then just walk them through it. So just show them scrolling back and forth, and show them where their technique is breaking down. So there's that, and then if you hit play, of course, which is over on the left-hand side here near the bottom, it just runs the video clips at full speed. So let me rewind those all the way back. So if you just want to see them play together, it just plays them at the same time. There's John taking the shot. All right, so when I built that analysis, when Travis built that analysis, what we did was, first of all, you queue up your video to exactly where you want it. So that's John just before he's taking the shot there. And now when you want to record that little video clip, basically all you do is you hit that. See the big red button in the very middle at the top, the microphone? You hit that. Once you hit that, everything that you do from that point on will be recorded. So if you're fast forwarding video, it'll show that. If you're using those little squiggly line things and stuff like that, the circles, it'll show that. And it also records whatever you're saying. So as you're talking and making commentary, it'll record that via your iPad as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that real quick. So I'm going to hit the record button. So now we're live recording. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward this one. So that's John there taking the corrected shot. And then if I use one of these little tools on the left-hand side there, or sorry, the right-hand side, you could do things like make, for instance, lines like that, or choose the circle tool. You can indicate things like that with the circle tool. And so likewise on the right-hand side now, if I roll the shot, there's John taking another shot, real high stick, we're going to have to work on that. So you can use the line tool again, marking off where the high shot or where the high stick is occurring, and then you can use other tools to do other things. And then you basically hit stop once you're finished. You hit stop, and then it goes to this screen. Click the analyze button, and what it does is it builds that analysis for you. So it's going to build that video that I just created. So that's going to take a moment to do. Should have done a shorter one. So that's basically Coach's Eye. I mean, does anybody have any questions about that? I know that went a little quick, but you're gonna have a full hour to work on that. I mean, you know what the end product is gonna look like, and you know some of the steps to get there. So I hope we'll be able to get to that. Let me just show this. Oh, I really should have done a short one. That has really cranking along there slowly.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Between 16 gig and 64, I believe. I think the new one's 128. So you get it for a bit. All right, so there it is. There. That's the analysis that we did there. Oh, you guys. I lost you guys. Sorry. Was that too much? All right, we have a question in the back there. You're gonna have to yell it. Oh, you can't hear us? You can't hear me back there. Oh, okay. Sorry. All right. Okay, we're back. Okay, sorry about that long pause there, everybody. That took a moment for it to build the analysis. So this is what it looks like. This is what the end product looks like. What I just created here. So it's very similar to that first example that I showed you. And you can just see that everything that I've done on the iPad after I hit that record button is reflected basically in that video that is created. So all the markings. If you could hear my voice up here, it would, the commentary would be running as well. So that's where we're going with that. All right, so I'm going to flip back over to my laptop. Okay, so little quote: I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, I do and I understand. Right? So we've heard a lot of stuff. Probably forgotten most of what I said, but hopefully the stuff you've seen, some of the videos you've seen, you're going to remember. And now we're going to move on to the actual doing part, getting onto the iPads. That was Confucius. All right, so this is the hands-on. So this is the hands-on part that we're going to, for the next, depending on how much time we have, maybe 45 minutes or so, we're going to be actually working on the iPads, building these sorts of analyses, I guess. Okay, so there's basically two options for doing this exercise. For those of you who that was just like, ooh, and you would like to do like an iPad 101, I'll perhaps to this end of the room, come join me, and we'll do like just a basic like, turn this thing on and navigate around and figure out a few things. We'll do that over here. So that's option number one, iPad 101 with Darren. The other option is that we're going to jump into doing one of those analyses, and we're going to have groups of 2 to 3 people doing it. So we're going to divide you guys up into groups of 2 or 3, preferably 3 if you can. And there's going to be one person is going to be the head coach, and then another person is going to be the assistant coach, and then one person is going to be the athlete. So you probably see where this is going.
Yes.
We have some props too for you guys to, some balls and things like that you can use. So here's the steps. The head coach, they're going to choose a skill for the athlete to attempt. So that could be any skill from, maybe your sport, something that you know how to do. Maybe it's a dance move, I don't know. But the coach will choose a skill to show. The assistant coach will record on the iPad, will record the athlete doing the skill. And then both of the coaches will review with the athlete the skill, and you'll use some of those tools that I just shown you with the diagramming and that sort of thing, and the fast forward, slow motion stuff, and offer up some corrections, how to do things a little bit better. This arm should be here, move your leg this way. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back, and then after the correction, we're going to have the athlete do the skill again. So this is after the coaches work with the athlete. do it again, record it again. So now you'll have two pieces of video. You'll kind of have a before correction and then after correction. And then we'll just pull those both into Coach's Eye, as I was showing you here, and we'll do that side-by-side analysis. And so that can be shared with other coaches or sent out to other people. And then if you guys are really quick, then if time permits, then we'll just change those roles around. Somebody else will be the athlete, somebody else will be the coach, and we'll do it all again. And then we have with us a bunch of geniuses or iPad pros from Team BC. I think Carrie's got the names. Maybe if they could just identify themselves. They're going to circulate around the groups and help you guys out if you come up on any snags. So can you guys just stand up? The experts, the iPad experts. That's good. So just want to finish up with just a little bit of a talk that I've done at coaches meetings before, and it kind of falls under video because it falls under the idea of ideas worth spreading. So I'm going to just ask you to consider this as coaches. So coaching, it's all the stuff a lot of stuff you learned this weekend, like fitness training, skill development, competition. This all comes pretty natural to most of us as coaches. This is the fun stuff, right? We're running around, yelling at athletes, telling them to do this faster, do this quicker, right? That's the fun stuff. Skill development. Most of us come from sports background, and that's how we arrive at coaching. So skill development, also very natural. Competition, who doesn't love a little friendly competition? So this is a part of coaching that I think that everybody pretty much who arrives at Special Olympics is pretty darn good at. But I would offer that it's a good idea to kind of think in a little bit different direction, and that's in a leadership way, because this stuff can be a little more challenging, and that's the stuff like supporting longer term goals, developing a team culture around the guys you coach, and then also doing things like you're doing today, which is professional development. It takes time. It's an effort to get out here and spend a whole weekend, filling your brains with these ideas, listening to guys like me talk. So, I applaud you. You guys are clearly on this path. So, considering those two aspects of coaching, I just asked you to consider this. And this is just a little video.
So ladies and gentlemen, at TED we talk a lot about leadership and how to make a movement. So let's watch a movement happen, start to finish, in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons from it. First, of course a leader needs the guts to stand out and be ridiculed. But what he's doing is so easy to follow. So here's his first follower with a crucial role. He's going to show everyone else how to follow. Now notice that the leader embraces him as an equal. So now it's not about the leader anymore, it's about them, plural. Now there he is calling to his friends. Now if you notice that the first follower is actually an underestimated form of leadership in itself. It takes guts to stand out like that. The first follower is what transforms a lone nut into a leader. And here comes a second follower. Now it's not a lone nut, it's not two nuts, 3 is a crowd, and a crowd is news. So a movement must be public. It's important to show not just the leader, but the followers, because you find that new followers emulate the followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, and immediately after, 3 more people. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point. Now we've got a movement. So notice that as more people join in, it's less risky. So those that were sitting on the fence before now have no reason not to. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, but they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. So over the next minute, you'll see all of the those that prefer to stick with the crowd, because eventually they would be ridiculed for not joining in. And that's how you make a movement. But let's recap some lessons from this. So first, if you are the type, like the shirtless dancing guy, that is standing alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals. So it's clearly about the movement, not you. Okay, but we might have missed the real lesson here. The biggest lesson, if you noticed, did you catch it? Is that leadership is over-glorified. That yes, it was the shirtless guy was first, and he'll get all the credit, but it was really the first follower that transformed the lone nut into a leader. So as we're told that we should all be leaders, that would be really ineffective. If you really care about starting a movement, have the courage to follow and show others how to follow. And when you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first one to stand up and join in. And what a perfect place to do that, TED. Thanks.
Yeah, so pretty cool stuff. And that, for those of you who haven't come across this site, it's from TED.com. Tons of good stuff out there. Like, I mean, tonight when you head home and you have your iPads, there's an app, TED app. So pull up the TED app, load that onto your iPad, and I would recommend that you check out this talk. It's by John Wooden. Some of you in basketball or maybe in other sports know him. He is the coach of coaches. So, I mean, if you ever want to hear a bit of inspiration and some real wise words, check out this book video on TED by John Wooden. All right, so yeah, just a quick 17-minute video. All right, so we need leaders. You know, every organization needs leaders to do that challenging work that I was talking about. You know, to come out to PD, spread the good word, and do all this kind of stuff. And we need people to think creatively, and people like yourselves that have these tools now will hopefully go out and do that sort of thing. So I just want to thank you for taking the time to come out, listen to what I had to say. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to get in touch with me. All my contact information is there. So any questions? I know there was lots. It was really kind of cool walking around with our group. People are coming up with me with all sorts of ideas and all sorts of questions about apps and things that they wanted to do. Get in touch with me. Tell me your stories. I'll be more than happy to include them in the next talk that I do. So thanks very much.